Okay, so back here with another one. So this one's a pretty silly one, but I'm doing it anyway. So this is how you can optimize single target damage as a survival hunter, because if people think that you are in the same realm as Windwalker monks and Affliction warlocks and Ellie shamans, you know, where your AoE is really high and the single target's bad, I really don't think so. I think survival has good single target. It's not, obviously it's not a rogue, and it's not a boomkin or a feral druid or whatever, but it's good. It's just not bad, okay? So if I can tell other people how to do that, then maybe the stigma will go away, because you guys will improve. I mean, this has helped me improve as well, and I do pretty good single target. I'll try and end this video with a clip of a high key on a tyrannical boss, but anyway, let's crack on. Do not cuck yourself and your build and your stats to do single target, especially on tyrannical weeks. You are an AoE spec. That is where you shine. Continue to shine there, right? What we're doing here is we're trying to look at the build that we have and make the best out of it. Most of the dungeon is trash. Yeah? So you still need your good AoE build to do what you want to do. Yeah? So this is kind of the assumed build that I'm going with. A lot of the calculations and sims that I've done here are based on this build. This is like the most common build you're going to find in high performing survival hunters. I think maybe you could argue that they've got a different trinket. These trinkets, they're just kind of, I'm not going to talk about trinkets because these are the two most common ones, and you know, you just wear it and that's it, it's done, right? Maybe there's some other ones like Shadow Grasp Totem, but I've had these out of the vault before. I've had different trinkets and I've simmed them, and it never compares to running these two. Okay, so it's just this sort of stat build. You can see there with the arrows. These shards of domination equipped. This talent build and Mechanicos, and these conduits. The enfeebled mark and strength of the pack and reverse of fortune. Okay. So to understand how we build and what to stat for, we need to look at the abilities. All of these abilities have attack. They scale off attack power, right? And some of them scale off verse. Yeah, it won't be an amazing amount, but it will be something. But it's mainly attack power, right? So your biggest stat is agility. Yeah, so that means always running a flask, always running a veiled augment rune. Try and get just a buttload of surprisingly palatable feast. I think that's the cheap feast. I mean, if you can get the gluttonous hedonism feast and get loads of that for all of your keys, sure. But me personally, that it just is more worth to just spend the gold on the cheap one. It's 18 agility rather than 20. 2 agility is fine for the convenience, right? And then also sharpening stone for attack power, right? Which is what agility is giving you. Attack power is what you want. For tyrannical weeks, don't be tempted to go into mastery. I've tried swapping, for example, the neck out for the Tarogru neck, the one that's got really heavy mastery and haste on it. And I didn't notice much in keys, and then when I've tried to sim it, it just doesn't sim very well. I don't really know why, because to me, the mastery, it increases your focus spending abilities damage. So to me, it should increase it, but it just doesn't even increase it on patchwork fights. It's very weird. But then, after you do that sort of sim, you think, fuck, I've just taken out some crit, or some haste, or some verse, which all contribute towards your AoE damage. So simply building into Mastery is just cucking you so bad for Mythic Plus as a whole that I just rather not do it. I know some Domination pieces have Mastery on it, like that's fine. Deal with that. But everything else, kind of just try and stay away from it. And then build-wise, yeah, I've tried playing around with this. The Stinging Strike Conduit, which increases your Raptor Strike damage. So I thought this would be good for single target. Very hard to tell in a dungeon because you do this and then yeah, obviously your Raptor Strike damage is going to be higher. But to do this conduit, you have to replace either Strength of the Pack or Enfeebled Mark, or you take away the Hammer of Genesis and the Mechanicos tree. But you never want to do that in Mythic Plus. That is such a good Soulbind benefit. Never do that. So it's either you replace one of these two and it just does not do well. You see, by replacing either of them, it drops nearly 100 DPS or just under 100 DPS. So for the time being, whilst we need the Hammer of Genesis and we can only have 2 potency slots, just don't do this. And then I thought that swapping these out, these weapon enchants per week, you know, Tyrannical and Fortified, might be worth. And this is, I don't know, it's a bit of a tough one because, well, it's not tough for me. So this is on the left is the standard sim, standard build. To the right is with Sinful Revelation on a Patchwork fight. It is more, slightly more, 18. But then if you go in Dungeon Slice, which I know is not the most reliable sim, but it's good enough for this purpose, it drops your damage by 75, and this is an AoE setting. So again, focus more on your AoE. So we're not going to do this. Just Celestial Guidance. Party buffs. So obviously, if you're joining a group, you have no control over this, right? But it's just good to know. But if you're building your own group, you can think about this. A warrior gives you attack power, which buffs everything you do. Yeah, so having a warrior is very good. Prop warriors are okay, they're not bad. If you know a good one, inv one, fuck it. But maybe, I mean, any DPS warrior. Just having a warrior is good. Yeah. And then the other ones, the ones that are applied to a target, the monk, this is what it increases: the physical damage, the Raptor Strike, Kill Command, Carve, Kill Shot, Auto Attacks. And then the Demon Hunter one, which increases your magic damage, will actually increase your bombs and your Serpent Sting and your Wildfire Cluster and resonating arrow damage. So, in a nutshell, Monk increases your single target, Demon Hunter increases your AoE damage. So, to try and fit this, all 3 of these into a comp is going to be very tough because that guarantees your 4 melee, right? And then if you've got a Holy Powder, that means you're 5 melee. So to me, actually, some dungeons, it really doesn't matter, but some dungeons is not great to have so many melee. Like Spires, second boss, having too much melee can make it kind of difficult. And Dealer in the other side, that can suck because all the traps are going to be stacked on top of each other unless you coordinate it properly. So sometimes it's not ideal, but if you were to take one of these, like if you're making a group and you were to take one of these, Warrior is going to be the best one for you. Yeah, from here on out, the order in which I've put things, there's not a massive structure to it, but I've tried to do it in somewhat. So passives, we don't actually have any natural passives. Like if you go through your spellbook, you've got nothing, right? So it's just the mastery. Yeah, we've talked about that. It's just going to happen. You know, you don't really need to think about it. Your talent passives, though, these are passives, but you know, when you have the talent into it. The build is Alpha Predator, gives you 2 charges kill command. Gorilla is 2 charges a bomb. Bloodseeker is kill command, now gives a bleed. And increases attack speed per target you hit. Tip of the Spear kill command increases damage in the next raptor strike up to 3 times. And wildfire changes the bombs with unique effects. Now, what of these affect single target? Mastery affects raptor strike and serpent sting, kill shot and carve. Again, don't really think about it. You're not specking into it. It just happens. Wildfire bomb. I'm gonna just leave this here because I go into this later. Bloodseeker provides the bleed. I've left that out there, and then the attack speed. Anyway, we'll go into this. This is the most single important slide here. Tip of the spear is how you're gonna do most of your single target damage. If you see a survival hunter doing bad damage, it's probably because they're not doing this or they're doing it wrong. Yeah. Or they've got mongoose. I don't like mongoose bite in dungeons because it encourages you to do some really weird plays if you've got 4 or 5 stacks, because you've got a limited time with 4 or 5 stacks of mongoose bite, and you might do some risky plays just to hit the boss. And I don't know, I'm not really a fan of that. This is just way more consistent to me. And flanking strike has just got nothing on this. This is just king. So you want to basically rotate between kill command and raptor strike all the time. Just do 1 stack is good. You don't need to do 3 kill commands and then raptor strike and try and do 3 kill commands and raptor. It just doesn't work like that. You're gonna run out of charges of kill command, and you're gonna want to raptor strike, but you don't want to because you want to hit 3 stacks. But then also you're capping your focus, so just don't do this, right? You just a good thing to do maybe is just you start the boss with like a serpent sting, throw a bomb, and then raptor strike twice, and then you're going to be down to like 50 focus or so. And then if you start doing this rotation, you're just going to be in this nice middle zone of 40 to 60 focus all the time. And then here I've just put some little calculations here. So raptor strike alone, for me, right? This is basing on this, right? It does 2.5 to 2.6. This is a no crit test. I've got these numbers from not critting. And then with 1 stack of tip of the spear is 3.3 to 3.4. Again, you don't want to be doing 3 kill command. You're just missing at raptor strikes. Raptor strike is way stronger than kill command. Make the best of that, and tip of the spear is helping you do that. I've just put a little calculation there for the stinging strike conduit. Again, I wouldn't suggest doing this, but I've just included it anyway. So this is the jump you get for this is the 25% increase. Now, here the tip of the spear bonus. If you're having to go out of range of the boss, by all means spam kill command. You can like serpent sting, or if it's going to be a long period of aspect to the evil, but I'll talk about that later. You can by all means don't feel bad for getting 3 stacks, right? If you can't hit the boss, right, you've only got a couple of abilities that you can do. You got bomb, kill command, and serpent sting that are max range. Just make use of that. Like if you're low on focus, you know you need to go out of range for the boss for a mechanic, and you can spam kill command. Yeah, just do it, and you can come back with a huge raptor strike, and hopefully it crits for like fucking 12-13k. It's nice. So don't be afraid to stack it, but this is like my #1 rule for single target, right? I just do this. Anyway, into the bombs. So the bleed from this shrapnel bomb, you throw the bomb, it makes it so that any raptor strike or carve that you do against the target is now going to apply a bleed. Stack it 3 times. The bleed is not very good. The bleed, for me with my stats, if I stack it to 3 times, it will do 3k to 3.4k. It's just air. That's like 1 raptor strike. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but don't sacrifice, like don't throw a blue bomb and then do 3 raptor strikes just to get this to 3 stacks. You can throw the bomb, you can raptor strike, kill command, raptor strike, kill command, raptor strike. You've achieved the bleed and you've maintained your cycle of increasing your raptor strikes by 25%. Yeah, just do this. That's how you're gonna get most. Oh yeah, and the state in which you end the focus on, you end up with higher damage and more focus by the end of doing what I suggested, rather than throwing the bomb, doing 3 raptor strikes, then kill command, and then even refreshing it with another raptor strike before the debuff fades. It does less damage, and you end up with less focus. So don't do that. And then, yes, just a side note here, blue bomb. Just example, if you're on echelon and the imps are coming, you can hold a blue bomb in a chamber, so you've got like 1 charge. Yeah, you're on 0 or 1 charges. Obviously, never hold on 2 stacks of bomb. Right, never do that. Wait for the imps to come, throw the blue bomb so they're all affected by it, carve, and then, you know, if you've got another bomb throw or whatever to kill the imps. But it just increases your attack speed, which is going to increase your damage in total. Yeah. Red bomb, pheromone. This makes your kill command guarantee a reset, which will then proc Strength of the Pact. So you want to take advantage of this by, you can use the red bomb, throw kill command at it, get the damage buff, and then just before the buff is about to run out on the target, do another one to proc the Strength of the Pact again. Because you want this, if it's guaranteed, you want to make sure you got Strength of the Pact going, because otherwise Strength of the Pact is just pure luck. I mean, it's kind of a high percentage, but it's just, you know, if it's guaranteed, make use of it. Oh yeah, and then this is kind of what I said earlier, if you're out of range of the boss, or even if you're just low focus, just stack up to 100 focus, because if you're getting low on focus, and then, you know, you raptor strike and now you're down to like 5 focus, and you've got like no chance to kill command. If you're in that situation, you've got to sit there for like 3 or 4 seconds before you can really even do anything. So just never do that. The green bomb is just nothing you can think. Well, actually, there is. I mean, it does a little bit of damage. You know, you don't need to do anything as long as you've got Serpent Sting on. It's just not really much. You've always got Serpent Sting on the target anyway. You don't need to think about that. But then also, yeah, just throw it towards the end of the Serpent Sting. You know, it just saves a global cooldown. That's it, really. Effective use of Aspect of the Eagle. So the best uses of this is saving it for mechanics that require you to be out of range of the boss for a long period of time. If you are needing to go away from the boss for a short period of time, and you've got a mechanic that will make you do that, then don't do that. So a good example of that is maybe Crixus of Sanguine Depths. If you need to go out of range of the boss, like if you've got the charge on you and you go out to the left, don't use Aspect there, because you're back in the boss in 2 seconds anyway, after you turtle and cancel it. Yeah? But if you've got a Severing Smash coming up, you need to go as far away as possible, and then slowly come back. That's a good time to use it. There's plenty of other examples. Maybe I've put some there, but that's just one I can think off the top of my head. Cooldowns. There's not many. Your cooldown is kind of shit, but just use it properly. Just try and pair the cooldown together with Resonating Assault. On a 3-minute fight, it will desync with Resonating Arrow because of Mechanicos' cooldown reduction on it. So you might need to wait either 5 or 10 seconds before your second use of Coordinated Assault to pair it with Resonating Arrow, but do that because you've got all these benefits like the extra damage from the mechanical's end thing, the effuse accelerator, and then the conduit enfeebled mark, on top of the damage increase from coordinated assault, on top of the strength of the pact increased damage that you'll probably get by kill commanding. It's just everything's going to happen together. So, you know, just do that on top of your normal rotation. Soulbind benefits. Bronn, he's a bro or a prick, depending on when he comes. You know, and he does very minor damage. Don't need to really worry about him. Hammer of Genesis is a haste buff. This is kind of what makes Kyrian so good for AoE, but it's good in single target as well. Again, I'll use Echelon. The imps come in, you hit them. Now you get a damage. You get haste proc on top of the attack speed bonus that you would have had from the blue bomb example. So it helps. Nothing to really think about, but I'm putting it here anyway. Soul Glow Spectrometer. It kind of works like the Mechanome racial. It just increases the damage on it. The only thing you can maybe think about here is just don't be afraid of hitting a new mob, because once this is on a target, it will not go to a different target if you tag one, right? It needs to finish the effect. So again, Echelon example, if you hit an imp, the Soul Glow will not leave Echelon, yeah? So just nothing crazy, but just don't be worried about that swapping. And then this is just passive damage to the FUs with the arrow. Conduit benefits. The strength of the pack, we've already talked about that. Just either get lucky with the proc or maintain. Clip the buff with pheromone buff. Enfeebled mark is just passive damage. Reversal of fortune. This is the conduit, the finesse conduit for. It's like your bonus for kicking. Yeah. More focus is always good. More focus means more raptor strikes. The rotation for kill command and raptor strike. If you're finding that you might clip too much focus, don't be afraid to raptor strike twice just to get away from that, because clipping focus is also not great. And then there's just a list of bosses that you can kick on. It's just basically just be aware of this. Like, don't equip it and then just not think about using it. Just try and yoink kicks, especially on bosses. Like on the incinerator, don't yoink a kick. You know, only do it when you're assigned to do it. And you know, if you're in coordinated groups, assigned kicks is good. But you know, otherwise, kind of just if you're in a pug or something, you don't know unless you're typing it. Just try and yoink kicks for more focus. Using agility pots effectively in dungeons. Yeah, in Shadowlands dungeons, you can probably use it like between 5 and 7 times. I think a lot of us are still not in the zone of using pots properly because of last season. On higher keys, you basically never potted because you were skipping pride so much. But now we're able to use pots, so, you know, you should use them. Obviously, there are some bosses you really need to save it for. You know, be kind of thinking ahead. What bosses are next? Hakar, probably want to save everything for that one. Echelon on Tyrannical, probably want to saving everything for that. So, you know, don't pot on Halkias. And then, yeah, don't pot if it's, you know, going to be a risky skip, like the bridge on Sanguine after the third boss. Because although we've got camouflage, after some trial and error, it doesn't work on packs like that. Camo is, what do you call? It's weaker than rogue stealth. So, you know, just kind of think ahead. But use the pots. If you go a dungeon and you're not using pots, if you're doing like 22s or like, actually no, anything above a 20, I don't know, you're trolling. just do it. And yeah, pair the pot with your CDs. You know, try and make everything out of your CDs as possible, even though you're not very much a CD spec. But you know, just put them together. And then I think this is the last slide. Yeah. So there are 5 possible domination sockets. Personally, I use 4. So you got the Shard of Kyrian, which is the Absorb Shield one. If you're not using this in Mythic Plus, you hate your healer, and you want to increase your chances of dying. Like, Shard of Kyrian is too good defensively to not use that. And then these 3 are the good damage ones. I forgot. I mean, I think it's Shard of Zed, the one that says it drains life. If you look at the damage of this by the end of the key, it's just like, it's just a complete waste. If you can equip a 252 piece that has bis stats to replace the domination piece that's holding that gem, do it. Because yeah, that shard is just not worth it. But these are the Shard of Core. Again, echelon example. You hit the imps, 3% increased damage, 20 seconds. Gore Chop. You basically maintaining this shard the entire time. Just hit ads during bosses. You've got no reason to, given your spec, you know, chuck out serpent stings, your bomb is going to hit it. You probably don't even need to worry about this shard. It's just going to happen, but, you know, something to think about. This one, the Shard of Beck, maybe you can think about that one actively. You just need to kind of make sure that you're avoiding mechanics and keeping yourself topped with acceleration and health pot towards the end of a boss to get this damage proc, which is another 3%, which is nice, obviously. And then the Shard of Diz, this just happens. You know, there's nothing you're going to do to not have that happen. And yeah, as far as I can tell, that is it. Maybe I'll make a guide for AoE. I think it's sort of self-explanatory, but maybe I'll do that as well. I understand that this was probably a bit extreme and a bit long for what is probably one of the simplest specs in the game, if not the easiest and simplest spec in the game. But I don't know. Again, I do this for actually finding stuff out myself to improve my gameplay, and it helps some people. I've had some positive feedback from some people saying that it's helped them out and their DPS has increased, and that's pretty cool, man. So, you know, if that does more, it sounds good to me. But anyway, yeah, if you can take this information and do more damage, and you know, show some people that you're not lumped in that. You know, you're not a Windwalker, you're not an Afrilok or an Elisham. You are something more. I don't know. Yeah, just, I don't know, take the information, do more damage, and see you next time. Thanks.